Today, Nigerian Super Eagles defeated Gabon by 4-1. And in today's video, we'll be looking at the heroes and the villains in that performance. Yes, Nigeria won 4-1. So, in the minds of people, wonderful, blistering performance. Let's all go home and throw ourselves a party. But no, just certain people that you should point out, right? Just like in the words of the great Denver Broncos and Baltimore Ravens, tight end Shannon Sharp, don't accept what you wouldn't don't accept in a win what you wouldn't accept in a loss. So there's certain things I just can't accept. Back to Sai Samuel, people say he was good. Yeah, nah, he was decent. Now there's how I judge players, and I think that's the way you judge players as well. What you do on the ball, what you do off the ball, and what you do when you're carrying out your primary function, your primary role, on the pitch. And back to Sai Samuel, he let defenders go a lot of the time. Now, don't get it twisted. Nigeria were lucky, absolutely fortunate not to get a penalty awarded against Nigeria. I think the referee was a bit of a stickler. He held on too tightly to certain minute things. That could have been a penalty, and it should have been a penalty. And I'm sure Nigerians out there, if that was for the Nigerian Super Eagles, you would have been saying that should have been a penalty. And Dr. Sai Samuel was at fault for that. He just let the man slip. He let the Gabonese defender waltz past him, and then he saw the guy had gone past him, then he lazily grabbed his shirt. Lazily grabbed his shirt for way too long, in my opinion. The guy goes down, and that could have, and well and truly should have been a penalty. So he's the villain. Then for the goal, I know Stanley Wabali, people love to blame him for everything. Yes, maybe he could have done better at his near post, but another lazy, cowardly defending by Osai Samuel. He wasn't doing anything. He just picked up his spot, stood, arms behind his back, and just gave Lamina a free view of the goal post. And the shot was struck. He didn't even stick out his leg to block the shot. He just stood there, and the ball deflected off his knee. And that is even more difficult for a goalkeeper, because you don't think your player is going to block the ball. You think that shot is going to come straight to you, and then it just ricochets off the knee of your teammates. Before you know it, it's in the net. So for me, Stanley Wabali in that regard doesn't have any blame to bear. He doesn't have any blame to bear in that regard. Now, another person for me who is certainly 110% a villain in this one is Ademola Lookman. I'm sorry. Lookman, I know you were great. You are an absolute world-class player. Everyone that watches this video, watches this channel, who subscribed to this channel, who clicks on the notification bell, knows that I absolutely rate Ademola Lookman. His story, how he's got to play for Atalanta. Absolute top player. What he did for Atalanta in the Europa League final, what he did for Nigeria even in the AFCON, alongside Victor Osimhen getting Nigeria to the final. But no, the game, he was an absolute villain. The performance he put in was absolute dross. Poor performance. I think his head is not in the right place right now. He needs to leave Atalanta ASAP. He needs to leave them ASAP right now. Ademola Lookman, he needs to go. Samuel Chukwueze, yes, I like you, but you are a villain as well in this game, because I don't think you brought your A game. I didn't see that much creativity from you. He held onto the ball a bit too long, so he's a villain in the story of yesterday's performance. And then, of course, we'll have to talk about Victor James Osimhen. For me, he is an absolute hero. Yeah, he missed that gilt-edged chance, and for me, I was a bit frustrated, and I would say yes, I was upset, because he picked the most difficult option when the easier option could have guaranteed the goal. He picked the tightest and narrowest angle, where he would have to over-adjust his foot to take the shot, and he skewered it wide. So for sure, 110%, yeah, you were wrong with that one. But he came back to show that mentality, because a lot of players would miss a chance, miss a penalty, and would let that rule their brain throughout the game, and they would not play anything. Victor Osimhen was fairly decent in the first half, and then second half he dropped off completely. But then in the added time, in extra time, he went on, scored those 2 goals that surely secured the win for the Nigerian Super Eagles. So top marks for him. He is an absolute hero. There is no argument about that. He is, in fact, a superhero right here. And then talking about another hero, Chidera Ejuke. His first time playing for Nigerian Super Eagles in eons, what seems like an absolute lifetime. But he comes in and shows himself brilliantly. Yes, he got that goal, and I know everyone will be talking about that goal. Some people have gone as far as saying the goal he scored, was the reason Victor Osimhen scored this goal, because it lifted the burden of having to score an absolute clincher. And just meant that the goal Victor Osimhen scored was just to pile on the Gabonese side. I disagree with that sentiment a bit, but I'll say this: apart from the goal, his work rate. Because when you're playing that 4-2-2 formation, people don't get it. It's exciting on the eye, but the amount of work those inside forwards have to do is maddening. The amount of work those 2 center midfielders have to do is crazy. You have to be on it on the ball in terms of those 2 10s or 2 wing forwards. Put pressure when you don't have the ball, track back to help your midfield and your fullbacks when you don't have the ball, when the opponent has the ball. And Chidera Ejuke did that yesterday. So for me, he is an absolute hero. Now, one person that I will call a hero, because for me, I like to keep it 110%. Eric Chill, hero all day, because he made the changes. Because sometimes you'll be watching a game and you're like, how isn't the coach seeing this performance on this pitch? I'm several thousand miles away watching this, and you were standing right there on the touchline, and you can see this. What's going on? Right? But he saw it. He saw that Adema Lookman, though we all love and rate him, wasn't playing. He just wasn't there. He made the change, took him off. And then he went on, and then he looked at Chukwueze, not quite doing it. Chidera Ejuke, come on. Now, one group, people, person, entity that I will call villains so far, the NFF, Nigerian Football Federation. You guys are absolute villains. Absolute villains. Because how would you be owing players bonuses? I don't even care. Some people say it's not since 2019. It's a lot. No, you shouldn't be owing people. That's it. And then the way you've put this team together, you're making the job of the manager extremely difficult. Look at it. You just have one right back, and then you're hoping that the centre back can double as a right back. Is that a strategy? That is absolute madness, in my opinion. So NFF, you have to hold that one. You are absolute villains in this story. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on what I've said so far in the comment section. But overall, I'll say this: Nigerian Super Eagles, you are the heroes. The performance had left something to be desired as well, because the first half was okayish. Second half, you completely dropped off, and then you came back in extra time and put on a very good performance. So top marks to all the players. So let me know your opinions in the comment section. Let me know what you think. All the performance, think of the players, what they're doing, and also want to say this before it ends. So we'll be having a show where we'll be having, if you're an Arsenal fan, Chelsea fan, Liverpool fan, Madrid fan, Shooting Stars fan, whichever club you're a fan of, we want to see you on this channel. Show your colors, rep your passion. So at this point, I've come to the end of the video, and I'll see you on yet another video. Stay well and stay blessed. Bye bye.